Welcome back. Well, Dallas Seavey triumphantly crossed the finish line at the 52nd annual Iditarod race in Alaska on Tuesday. It was his record 6th win. It took him more than 9 days and 2 hours to finish, and he had to shoot and gut a moose along the way. Dallas joined me earlier to talk about the whole experience.
We came around a corner about 100 miles into the race, and a very aggressive corner going through the trees downhill. Next thing I know, I've got a moose literally in the middle of my team. The moose was facing the opposite direction of us, and several of my dogs had kind of snuck right by the edge of that moose before I was around the corner enough to see the moose. So I slammed on the brakes, and there we stopped with a 2,000-pound animal right by the front of my sled. It started, trying to stomp on my dog, and by that time I had actually gotten the gun out and quickly shot the moose as carefully as I could, understanding that I have dogs in that same vicinity. So that first shot was not necessarily a killing shot, just something to try to get the moose out of the team and away from, the damage it was doing. And then when the gunshot went off, the dogs spooked and lurched forward, and that put the moose basically on my sled and in my face, which made it very easy to put the next 4 rounds right in the side of the moose's head, and it dropped on top of my sled. As you can imagine, that put me in a little bit of a shock situation. So from there on, things are a little bit of a blur, and it was kind of terrifying. Those dogs are in the team, and they're my responsibility, and I need to be prepared to protect them if that situation arises.
So you had to gut the moose there as a part of the rules of the Iditarod. Were you upset to learn that you were getting a penalty for not sufficiently gutting the moose?
Yes and no. To be fair, I think the race judges made a good decision. I put them in a really tough spot, and I tried to do the best I could gutting the moose. But this is a 2,000-pound animal. The moose's body position was belly uphill, and I couldn't move the moose. I couldn't pull the innards out correctly. My dog team was obviously very panicked. And like I said, this is a very dangerous corner. And I was so afraid of a team coming down the trail, becoming entangled with my team and causing more problems. So I did the best I could and took off, and then, tried to get a message to the race officials. And I was trying to do voice to text, and still kind of in shock. And I did not do a good job of articulating the state of the moose.
Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult is it to text and mush at the same time?
Incredibly difficult, especially when your hand's freezing. That's actually the hardest part. We saw temperatures as cold as 47 below out there later in the race, but that evening was pretty dang cold too. And with the wind chill for moving with the dog team, it's pretty difficult. So in the end, it all worked out. There's things I would love to go back and do better. There's things I should have thought of at the time, but I was a little bit in shock and focused on trying to take care of the team. Turns out I had a dog that was fairly badly injured by that moose. She's fine now. She's on my couch at home recovering.
Dallas, what is the toughest part of a sled dog race 1,000 miles across the Alaska wilderness? I know you touched on the climate a little bit, but what's the toughest part of doing it?
It's a really not a high stress, but you're just a busy 9 days. And I'm running alongside the sled. I'm running up every hill. I'm ski pulling to help, get the sled down the trail. But more importantly, my primary job is caring for the real athletes, which of course are the dogs. And what this leads to is, for the musher, sleep deprivation is a huge aspect. The dogs are getting 8 to 11 hours of sleep per day. They're staying rested. They're staying massaged and well fed. But all that care has to happen from the musher. We can't have any outside assistance for caring for the dogs.
All right, Dallas, you competed in this race when you were 18, the youngest musher in Iditarod history. Yeah. You won when you were 25, the youngest to ever win it. Now you've got the most wins ever with 6. So why have you been able to be so successful at this?
I grew up in this sport. I mean, I was homeschooled from day one. I didn't go to school. I didn't have human friends as a kid. I had 4-legged friends. So as I was learning how to understand the world and how to think and how to perceive things, my influencers were largely canine. And so I think I have an innate knack to understand how the world works the same way a dog does, which allows me to speak to them. Most importantly, it allows me to fix the problems that they see, not the problems that the human sees. The human sees time. The human sees position in a race. The dog sees the 10 feet of trail in front of it. And I always, as their coach, have to address the problems that they see and help them have a great day. And if they have a great day and then another great day and another great day, I get to win the Iditarod, right? But it's all about the dogs, and it's all about them feeling successful, feeling healthy, feeling strong, and ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, you gotta love seeing those dogs celebrate. And Dallas's dad has also won the Iditarod 3 times. His grandfather competed in the very first race ever. It's clear elite mushing just runs in the Seavey genes.